Our next inductee was a winning machine and the top money earner in the game at the time of his retirement in 1983, on the strength of 3 victories in the prestigious Canadian Pacing Derby. He is also an honored member of the United States Harness Racing Hall of Fame. The Canadian Horse Racing Hall of Fame is proud to induct the horse God loved, Rambling Willie.
During the 1970s and early 1980s, pacer Rambling Willie was a celebrity with a fan base reaching well beyond the racetrack. The humbly bred gelding raced 305 times with 128 wins, 69 seconds, and 43 third-place finishes. On Canadian tracks, Rambling Willie was the only 3-time consecutive winner of the Canadian Pacing Derby, 1975 in a dead heat with Pickwick Barron, 1976, and 1977. Purchased as a birthday gift for his wife Vivian by Ohio-based trainer-driver Bob Farrington for $15,000, his ownership was later split between Vivian Farrington and friend Paul Siebert. His nickname, the horse that God loved, came when Mrs. Farrington tithed her portion of Willie's earnings to the church where her father served as pastor. In 1981, a book bearing Willie's nickname was published, and the fan favorite, along with his connections, toured throughout the U.S., making appearances at racetracks and on television shows including 60 Minutes and The Merv Griffin Show. At each stop, Willie would sign books with an inked hoofprint for his throngs of admirers. At the conclusion of his racing career in 1983, Rambling Willie was the leading standardbred money winner of all time, earning more than $2 million, primarily from overnight and invitational races. His post-racing years were spent as a resident of Kentucky Horse Park, where he greeted adoring fans. Following his passing in 1995, Rambling Willie was laid to rest near his paddock at the Horse Park's Hall of Champions.
Representing Rambling Willie is Doug McIntosh, and making the presentation to Doug is honored Hall of Fame member Bill O'Donnell. All right, Doug, let's move over into the middle a little bit here. There we go. All right. So when Rambling Willie was in Ontario, he was based at your farm for jogging and training. You said, and I quote, "Willie was a very nice horse to jog and train, but a bit on the lazy side. I don't believe Bob ever trained him too hard." What else can you tell us about Willie's temperament?
Well, firstly, he was at my farm because he was being worked on by Dr. Lloyd McKibben, and I was only a couple miles from his clinic, and they needed someone to keep him up in shape. So I was fortunate enough to get him. I guess I was in the right place at the right time. And he was just jogging and training at my farm, and he was just a very unassuming, big, clumsy horse. But when you turned him the right way, he did it right. I recollect that Bob called me and said, do you think he's ready to go? And I said, I don't know. He said, well, train him pretty good. He said, and we'll see. I'll call you at 9 o'clock. So I trained him, and he said, go to the half in around 5 or 6, and then just come home all you can come. I thought, oh my God, what kind of a mile are we going to go here? So I got down to half in 6 or 7, and I went a mile 2:12. I was fearful of this call. So Bob called, and he said, how did he train? I said, well, Bob, I told him the fraction. He said, Willie's ready to go.
There you go. Willie's ready to go. All right. So during those years when Willie was winning profoundly, what was it like to be part of his orbit and to be inside of that history in the making?
For a young guy getting started, it was just really, really a big thing. And to be become friendly and know the Farringtons well. And Bob opened a lot of doors for me after that. So it was a big honor.
I can imagine. All right. And finally, aside from his accomplishments on the track, a large part of Willie's story was his role as a bona fide celebrity, as we saw in the video. Touring venues, TV appearances, signing books. Willie truly cast a spell on people. He captured the hearts and imaginations of the public. You're no stranger to the art of promotion in your own business, and you too had a horse in Yankee Paco that was truly beloved by the nation. So what do you think is at play here? How and why do these horses get into our minds and into our hearts?
I think Willie was just a big, plain horse that could really do it right. There was nothing flashy. He was an everyday guy. And plus, you know, the Farringtons donated 10% of what he made to their local church. So he became very popular, and it just was a great story.
It is a great story. Thanks for sharing it with us.
Thanks, Kelly.
All right. Doug McIntosh representing Rambling Willie.